This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform helping you succeed online.
All right, so here we go. iPhone 17 Pro Max up against Vivo X200 Ultra camera comparison. And of course, the iPhone has its triple 48 megapixel fusion camera system on the rear, but they both actually have the same size main camera sensor at 1/1.28 inches, with the Vivo's coming in at 50 megapixels. And as far as the telephoto camera, the Vivo wins pretty much hands down on paper and in performance with this large 1/1.4 inch 200 megapixel telephoto camera, which also serves as a telemacro camera, meaning you can get really nice and close to subjects as well. And the iPhone's telephoto camera comes in at 1/2.55 inches. And again, the ultra wide angle cameras, the Vivo has the larger sensor at 1/1.28 inches at 50 megapixels, and the iPhone again at 48 megapixels and 1/2.55 inches. But of course, the iPhone does have its upgraded selfie camera, 18 megapixels, that can shoot both portrait and landscape without rotating the phone. And I do think the results are a little bit better on the iPhone there, but you can see for yourself. Because as I always do, I'm going to show you a bunch of photos and videos in both good and low light conditions to help you decide which of these two camera systems might be best for your smartphone camera needs. So go ahead and take a look at all the photos and videos and let me know what you think. However, just a quick break from the video to mention that if you're thinking about having a single place online where you can direct people to access your content or your work like your photography or any of your contact information and social media links, then today's sponsor, Squarespace, has you covered and can help you set up a website really quickly and very easily.
Simply sign up for a free trial, then use their Blueprint AI website builder to put together your website in minutes, or select from their library of templates to get started. It's easy to pull in content from YouTube, Instagram, other social sites, and even your own photos and videos. Quickly add your social media links to quickly display them on your site as well. It's also easy to add and customize an online form for people and brands to easily reach out and contact you.
And once you're ready to publish your website, go to squarespace.com/grantlikestech to save 10% off your first purchase of your website or domain. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video, which helps me bring you more content like this. Now let's get on with the rest of the video. So here's a test of the rear cameras of the iPhone 17 Pro Max and Vivo X200 Ultra. This is the ultra wide angle cameras to start out on each at 4K 60 frames per second. And so obviously I'm outdoors, but it's an overcast day as you can see. There is some sun peeking out, and of course you see some of those fall colors starting to come in. So I'm just going to pan around so you get a side-by-side view of how these ultra wide angle cameras compare in this particular setting. If I pan up, you can see how it maybe adjusts for exposure there. And we can go ahead and move into the main cameras on the iPhone and on the Vivo. And off the bat, you'll notice, of course, the Vivo with the longer focal length for its main camera at 35 millimeters compared to the iPhone. So it's going to be a little bit tighter on the framing there. But I'll do the same thing, pan around so you get a side-by-side view of how these main cameras compare here. And the Vivo does have the sound enhancement feature, so I'll turn that on right now. So speech or vocal enhancement is now on the Vivo. And there is a bunch of background noise right now, so it's probably a good test for the microphones and that particular feature. And so let's go ahead and pan over here to the right and we'll test zoom out on that cell tower. So 4x telephoto here on the iPhone, 85 millimeter telephoto there on the Vivo. And iPhone will go all the way up to, I believe, what, 24x, and Vivo all the way up to about a 13.4x. But fairly close on the focal lengths. And let's move it back out to 1x on the Vivo. Main camera there, 1x on the iPhone. And we'll test autofocus on the post first with the iPhone. And away. And it's just easier to do these one at a time. Make sure we do it right. And pretty fast as you'll expect from the iPhone and of course on the Vivo now. Still pretty snappy on the Vivo. And we'll go ahead and we'll walk down the stairs just to test out stabilization so you can see what it looks like side by side as we go through the pathway. And we'll go ahead and just jog to try to stress out the stabilization here. So there you go, quick 4K 60 frames per second test on the rear cameras of the Vivo X200 Ultra, iPhone 17 Pro Max. Let me know what you think here. Okay, so we're back with the rear cameras, this time shooting in log video format here. So this is the main cameras, and this is at 4K 30 frames per second. That is the max resolution and frame rate that Apple ProRes log will allow you to shoot in. The Vivo can shoot in 4K 60 in log format, but I'm keeping everything consistent across the board here. And again, main cameras, just giving you the same kind of scene that you just saw in full auto on both. So kind of comparing this color corrected log video footage compared to what you just saw in full auto. And I'll just walk down the stairs just to give you some of the same footage that you just saw. So let me know what you think about this color corrected footage here in log format from both the iPhone 17 Pro Max and Vivo X200 Ultra. And of course you have the freedom to get the color profile and the look that you really want by shooting in this. So this is just my interpretation. But let me know if you see any kind of difference and if you prefer this kind of footage versus what you just saw kind of in just full straight auto out of the camera. Okay, so we're back with the rear cameras, this time with cinematic video on the iPhone, portrait video on the Vivo, and they both can shoot in 4K in this mode from the rear cameras. And the blur is fully adjustable here. So this is at f/4.0 aperture on both, but you can adjust it to be more or less blurry as you want. And the Vivo is shooting with the ultra wide angle camera because with the 35 millimeter rear camera, main camera, it's gonna be way too tight of a focal length. And if you're gonna vlog with this handheld, you're probably gonna wanna use the ultra wide just to get yourself in frame here. And so I'm outdoors in some overcast conditions, so there's no real harsh light to affect the overall quality and the overall background effect here. So it should be looking pretty good, but I'll pan around just to give you an idea for how the effect holds up as well as overall picture quality, with some movement and maybe some minor changing light here. But overall, this should be doing as best as it possibly can with no real harsh sunlight.
And I'll just go ahead and start walking so we can test the stabilization as well as show you what this looks like with a little bit more movement. So let me know what you think about the cinematic video quality of the iPhone up against the portrait video quality on the Vivo rear cameras. Parents, so here's a test of the front-facing cameras on the iPhone 17 Pro Max and Vivo X200 Ultra. This is being shot at 4K 60 frames per second, which is the max resolution and frame rate on each of these front-facing cameras. And it's a pretty cloudy day. As you can see, it's overcast, so really no harsh light. It's gonna be pretty even and controlled lighting here. Some of the fall colors coming in behind me. And on the Vivo, you do have this speech enhancement feature, so I'll turn that on. So that's vocal enhancement on the Vivo, so it should be suppressing more of any kind of background noise. And the iPhone does have audio mix, so I'll play around with that. So keep things even with their noise enhancement or sound enhancement features here. And I'll just pan around to give you an idea of how these cameras perform and how the exposure may change with some of the changing lighting conditions. The sun would be back that way if anything, but for the most part, it should be pretty even, looking pretty controlled here. And I'll just walk so we can test the stabilization. So you can see what that looks like here side by side. So let me know what you think about these front-facing cameras here on the iPhone 17 Pro Max and Vivo X200 Ultra. Okay, everyone, so we're back with the front-facing cameras. This time it's cinematic video on the iPhone, portrait video on the Vivo, so you should be seeing this artificial background blur. And they both are fully adjustable, so they're both at f/4.0 aperture, but of course you can make it more or less blurry as you want. And the iPhone can shoot at 4K in this mode, while the Vivo is limited to 1080p. And so again, I'm staying in the same spot, so it's an overcast, cloudy day, so you're not going to get too many hot spots, too many really bright, harsh light to affect the overall camera quality here. But I will pan around just to give you an idea for how this effect holds up as I pan. And maybe slight lighting conditions, the sun would be back that way. But overall it's pretty even. And so it actually should be looking as good as it possibly can right now. But I'll just go ahead and start walking so you can see how this effect holds up with some movement. And so let me know what you think about cinematic video here on the iPhone, portrait video on the Vivo front-facing cameras. So here's a low light video test of the rear cameras of the iPhone 17 Pro Max and Vivo X200 Ultra. This is the ultra wide angle cameras to start out on each at 4K 60 frames per second. So as you can see, the iPhone has the wider field of view. It's going to fit more into the frame here. But we'll go ahead and move into the main cameras on the iPhone and on the Vivo. And right here, the Vivo is going to have the tighter framing at 35 millimeters compared to the iPhone. So I'm just going to pan around to give you a side-by-side view of how the main cameras compare in the same scene. See how they handle that really bright street light. We'll pan back up here. See the tree line and see things brighten up right there. And we'll pan over here and we'll test out the telephoto cameras. So 4x telephoto on the iPhone, 85 millimeter here on the Vivo. We can zoom all the way in. 24x on the iPhone, you can see what that looks like with the signage, and then all the way in on the Vivo. Alright, so we'll move back out to the main camera on the Vivo and on the iPhone, and then we'll pan around this way and we'll just walk so you can see what the stabilization looks like side by side, as well as move over from that really bright lights to a little bit darker area here so you can see how it handles that light transition as they move down this pathway. And as you're around the corner, I don't think the really bright light is on out there, so it'll be a good test for how these perform in some pretty good amount of darkness here. There's just these lights that light up the pathway here, and in the viewfinder, the iPhone is definitely trying to brighten up the scene a lot. And we'll pan around here and you can see what I'm talking about. So this is much darker stretch down this way, and the iPhone is trying to brighten everything up. And as we pan up this way, that might be at the risk of some noise. You can see it's very cloudy and overcast. Pretty clear definition amongst the clouds there. So it's not really dark and black sky, so you're not going to see as much noise in the picture, but definitely brighter than it's looking here on both phones really, but more so on the iPhone. So let me just think about this 4K 60 footage here from the iPhone 17 Pro Max, Vivo X200 Ultra here in some low light. Alright, we're back with the rear main cameras again. This time I'm shooting in log file format. And so what you're seeing is the color corrected footage. And so you can compare this to the footage that you just saw straight out of the camera's full auto. And hopefully this is looking a little bit more like night on both these phones. So obviously, once you get the flat color profile of the log footage, you can pretty much color correct it to your liking. And so this is my interpretation. Should be looking a little bit darker, more like night on both. And I'll just walk over this way, kind of do the scene in reverse for you. So obviously the really dark light back there. And then as you move over this way, you can see some of those street lights. Much brighter area here and what that might look like. So let me know what you think about this color corrected log footage and how you think it compares to the straight out of the camera full auto footage that you saw from both these phones. So here's a low light test of the front facing cameras of the iPhone 17 Pro Max and Vivo X200 Ultra. And so I'm obviously outdoors at night. It's a bit overcast and it just kind of rained, so you can kind of see what the scene looks like right now. There is a lot of warm light around me, so if you can look at the color temperature, the iPhone tends to skew kind of warm, but it's actually looking fairly accurate for now. And the Vivo is looking a little bit darker and a little bit grainy and noisy. But let me know what you think after seeing this video here. And when I move this way, you can see what this looks like here with a really bright street light behind me. and how that might affect the picture quality and overall look of the video here. And I'm going to turn on the vocal enhancement feature here on the Vivo. So right now vocal enhancement is on. It should be suppressing more of the background noise, if any, right now, and my voice may sound a little bit different. And we can compare that to the audio mix feature on the iPhone and how its sound suppression works in comparison to the Vivo. So as we move this way, you can see what this looks like and how the stabilization compares side by side, as well as what the image quality looks like here as we move to a bit of a darker area here, a little bit less light around this particular area right here. And we'll pull up right here and pan all the way around so you can see what this looks like with some bunch of those really bright street lights shining into the camera there. Vivo exposure just went kind of dark here. You can see what that looks like on the iPhone. And as we move over this way, we'll go back to this little bit darker area here where there's a little bit less light. So I can see what the scene looks like here with a little bit less light right now compared to side by side. The Vivo is still looking pretty dark and a little bit grainy in the viewfinder, and the iPhone skewing a little bit warm, but overall looking maybe a little bit better, at least what I'm seeing through the phones right now. But let me know what you thought about the overall camera comparison here between the iPhone 17 Pro Max and Vivo X200 Ultra. Which of these two camera systems would you use on a daily basis and why? I'm always interested to hear how you guys use your smartphone cameras. If you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll try to answer what I can. And as always, thanks for watching.